From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning all things automotive car talk show in Wheel Time. Just ahead, a review of our pre-owned car of the week. Mr. Dziekan is going to talk about the 2016 Chevy Malibu Ltz. You're going to find out how much used car value you get for buying one of those. A look at a few events that you might be interested in around town this week in auto history. And actually, we're going to have some extra special things like there was a brain blank that just rolled by. We've got some extra special things.
Oh, I've got something special.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Be careful.
Watch this.
Oh, look, it's Jeffy.
It's Jeff Dziekan, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay!
God
Everybody.
save the Queen.
Yeah, that's right. And if you want to do the actual Queen wave, it's this.
It's just a rotating.
Yeah,
No, it's not even that. It's this.
yeah. Because if you do that, that's the prom queen wave.
Well, I'm doing this because Don got my wife and I hooked on The Crown. So through the holidays, binge watch.
So you're switching from Jim Beam to Crown Royal?
Exactly. Oh, actually, I've got some Texas blend. So we'll get into that later.
Okay.
More
Yeah.
Jeff. We need more Jeff.
That's right. All right. So we're going to go back to Alec Udell, and he is with the Houston Karting Complex. And Alec, thank you for spending all of your morning with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here this morning. I always love talking about cars and karts and all things automotive. So,
Well,
it's
we
nice to be with you
also
guys.
we also really appreciate the fact, since it is a little bit chilly up there in Conroe and here as well in the Southwest Houston area, that you are now indoors, and
Yes,
we
yeah.
are dying to see what's in Alec's garage.
Well, it's more than just my garage, but for now we'll take a quick tour around one of our buildings up here at Houston Karting Complex. So we finished this one over the summer, and we've right now got a kind of a storage facility with quite a few cars in here. Some of them are being prepped and getting ready for work over next door. And then we've got all of the go-karts here as well.
Wow! Now,
Back there in that corner, that black one, right back there in that
the
corner.
R8? The Ford GT.
Yeah.
We got a GT in here.
So these are all your toys.
No, not quite. No,
Porsche
just-
back there and everything.
Just this one. Well, this one and this is my toy as well.
Oh, these are
And then-
the special carts that we talked about at last segment.
so let's talk about those
Exactly.
carts, Alec. What are
Sure.
they, and how much horsepower? What kind of motor? Do they have transmissions? We need to know everything that there is to know about that.
Yeah, and so I have them spread out here by a different grouping here. So we've got this engine here. This is the one that I've been doing a lot of training with. It's a two-stroke. It's a two-stroke competition engine. It's 100 cc's. It's a chain-driven chain-driven centrifugal clutch. So there's no transmission, no shifting gears. You get in it. It's a tag kart. So it's got a touch and go. That's what tag stands for. And so it's got electric start.
What do you mean tag and go? What does that mean?
Just touch and go. So that's what tag stands for.
So-
Touch what?
It's push started, right? It's a push button start, right?
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
push-
you don't have to
push
pull a
button
rope
start.
like you did on the old Briggs and Stratton.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
It's got
the
Take it out of gear.
battery's dead. Excuse me.
it's got an electric starter on it.
But if it's
Yeah,
a direct drive, wouldn't the thing shoot out the side of the wall in there?
Well, it's a centrifugal clutch.
Not
you have
until
to
you get enough
rev it up.
RPMs in it and the clutch
Yeah.
engages.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're just, and that's pretty much how all the competition karts are. So it's just, they're chain driven, solid rear axle. So this one I use, it's got about 15 to 16 horsepower. It's got a carburetor. It's not like fuel injector, everything super basic. So this is kind of what I learned how to work on karts and, kind of how engines work and everything. Back when I was, I started karting when I was 5 years old and kind of grew up and started working in our kart shop when I was about 14. So these are very basic, but super helpful tools. I mean, the tires are pretty sticky. I got a new set back there because these ones are all torn up. and almost worn out or corded. You can actually see
It's
the
been off
cords
the
right
track
here.
a little bit there.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, it's just picking up a little bit of the grass and hay around here. Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah,
seat, that seat looks like it could be really something of a mind changer when it comes to somebody that had back surgery recently. I can't imagine trying to get into that and come out of it without being crippled in some way.
It's a little snug.
Yeah.
Is the,
Yeah.
Is the seat body formed to you specifically?
No. They're just this Tillet is the seat manufacturer, and so there's the size of the seat right there. I have I wear like a rib vest when I drive, and so that kind of gives you a little bit of a some support around your sides, because the G forces in the carts, you're up 1.82 G's pretty consistently. And so it's great.
Just saying those words makes my back ache. Yeah, 1.8 G's.
So you said it's a two-stroke, 100 cc.
Yes.
Horsepower output you said was about 15.
Yeah.
And what would your top speed in that be?
So it depends. That you gear it for whatever track you're on. These engines will run up to like 16,000 RPM. Yeah. So when they're screaming, there's no rev limiter or anything on them, and so you gear them to top out. So right now it's geared for the track out at Katy, and when we were running out there, I actually have a little lap timer on here that has GPS and does RPM and everything, coordinate all in the screen there. And so we were doing about 70 mile an hour at that track.
Oh my gosh!
These carts are pretty quick. They accelerate very quickly. The two strokes have quite a lot of top end, compared to a four stroke, which I've actually got a couple of those in here as well. So this is a cart that I've been training with. I actually got this other one, the CRG here, which is new. So I'll get another engine. This is kind of what a bare chassis would look like. So I'll get an engine put on the chassis here, and basically be doing a bit more training with this one. It's cool with this chassis. You can actually. So it's got the slots in here, and where the axle goes in, you can actually change the wheelbase of this chassis based on what track you're going to. So if you have a shorter, tighter track like we do here at HKC, I'll run the shorter wheelbase. If I go to some of the longer tracks, I can pivot it back and create a longer wheelbase out of the chassis. So
on the other cart that you were showing us, how much would you say that you have in the actual value of that? Whether you paid all this money for it, or all the pieces that you put together to make this particular...
Yeah, if you say that your rental carts are somewhere in the $9,000 range, what would you say your investment in this one was?
So this cart, brand new, is going to run somewhere around $7,500.
Okay.
And the thing with the...
That's with the engine.
Yeah, with the engine. So depending on the engine, like this one in the back here, this is a water-cooled 125cc engine. And it's been sitting for a little while, you can tell. So this one would be more around $9,000. That engine's a little more expensive in the package. These air-cooled, so this is an air-cooled one with the fins. They're a little less expensive. So this entire package, engine, ready to rock, ready to drive, is about $7,500.
So, but that's just the cart. Now you've got to buy the tools to work on the cart. You got to buy the tires frequently, because you go through those, and then you've got to have something to haul it in, and then you have to have something to pull the trailer that this goes in. So I would imagine it can get very pricey pretty quickly.
Yeah, it certainly can. When I first started in karting, my father and I, we had a Tahoe that we put the go-kart in the back of. So you can kind of get as basic as that. You can put it, this would fit in the back of a pickup truck if you take the wheels off of it. So there are some creative ways you can transport it, but the running cost of one of these is not cheap, but also, it's not like a GT3 car where those are like, a few $1,000s an hour. So
how much does that cart weigh?
This one will weigh, with me in it, the running weight is 360 pounds, and so that's driver included. So I weigh about 140, so about 200 to 220 pounds depending on the driver.
At 70 miles an hour.
Yeah. 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
So when you said that, Conrad looked at me and his nostrils flared.
let's move on to the next story. So when you take these to the limit, you tend to go over the limit from time to time.
Sure.
Do
Why
they,
the grass on the tires.
do they spin pretty flat, or do you really have to worry about catching an edge?
No, I mean, the only way that these really will go over is when you hit wheel to wheel with them.
Okay.
So
So
they're not just going to topple over or anything. You've got to hit something, or you got to. But even if you hit something, generally you're on the ground. You're not going to go up. But if you hit wheel to wheel, that's when things can get airborne.
have you ever been on your head?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, a couple of times.
Yikes.
So that's what's wrong with you today.
Yeah. That's that and the exhaust fumes.
The exhaust fumes. Everybody loves the exhaust fumes.
Yeah, speaking of exhaust fumes, there was a fuel bottle back there. I mean, do these run on – what kind of fuel do these run on?
So we run with it's either 98 octane fuel or we use the VPC12 and then mix it with about 6 to 8 ounces to a gallon, depending on what where you're going and what the weather's like.
Okay.
So are there rules in place as to what kind of fuel you can run or what the mixture is?
Yes. Yeah. Generally, there's what kind of fuel, and the mixture is into that. But the mixture is more about the engine reliability. So if you run it with too little fuel, then you're not lubricating the cylinder enough, and that's when you can have detonations or have an issue and the engine's going to blow up.
So have you blown up any engines, Alec?
Gosh, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
At 16,000 RPM, I can't imagine. It's running so fast you can't even see the piston going up and down in the thing.
Yeah, and so with these, you run them to about the service life on the engines before you have to rebuild them is about 25 to 30 hours, depending on how hard you run them. And so when you get up to that limit, you're going to have parts that fail, things that fail in them. And so, of course, in this in this sport, I've definitely gone through my fair share of engines. I've spent a lot of time on a racetrack.
And when you rebuild an engine, what do? You hone the cylinder walls, change piston rings, bearings, that sort of thing?
Yeah, it just depends on what's gone bad, but for sure you'll go through the cylinder, make sure it's okay. If there's been a ring failure and the cylinder's beyond repair, then you got to get a new one. And so it just kind of depends. Generally, what I'll do is I'll send the engines out to a engine builder, and they can build them to the spec in the class that allows them to be, make as much horsepower as possible, make things as close as they can be, get the compression to be as high as it can be, and basically make the most power. So this is just a stock engine that I've got here. So when I'm ready to rebuild it, I'll send it off to an engine builder and have it make a little more power. With these things weighing only 360 pounds and the engine's having, 15, 16 horsepower, that half horsepower is a huge deal in one of these. So when you go to compete, having a properly built engine is very important.
Now, how much does it cost you to send an engine out to be rebuilt? And when it comes back, is it ready to bolt in and go?
Yeah, it depends. Some of the places do have engine dynos where they'll run these in, break them in for you. And so it can be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. These we've got these Briggs and Stratton is what I was talking about initially. So this is one of our rental carts our race line rental cart that I've converted into a Briggs and Stratton cart. And so as compared to one of our normal rental carts, which is this one sitting on the ground here, it's too heavy to lift up. These engines, you can get a race prepped engine built for $250 on top of the price of the engine.
But that's a four-stroke engine, correct?
This is a four-stroke,
yeah.
Correct. But these are like what are this engine runs pretty common nationally. You can go to pretty much anywhere in the country and run that engine. But it is a little bit different for sure than the two-stroke.
Now, is it also a centrifugal clutch?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So the clutch. You can see the chain drive back there, right in here with the clutch there. So it's a centrifugal clutch as well.
So, Alec, as long as I've been on the face of this earth, I've always heard about shifter carts. Explain that, and I have not seen one there. Do you have any?
We don't. We have a couple of, I could show you this chassis back here is a shifter cart chassis. Basically, all it is usually they'll run when I was running, I ran shifter karts with a FR125, so it's just a Honda dirt bike engine, and it's just converted to be able to run in a go-kart. So like this is your shift lever here. You've got the hand clutch on this side. Engine obviously would go there. It's also an kind of inboard, so the chain would run back in there. But it's all just, you know, it's a sequential gearbox. It's nothing too crazy, but it's basically just a dirt bike engine put on a go-kart
with
engine and transmission,
with a dirt bike transmission as well.
Correct.
And
Interesting.
That's with a
So that makes it easy transfer from a dirt bike. If you had an old dirt bike, say for instance, and it's been wrecked, but the engine's still good, you could actually bolt it right in.
Sure. And recently, in the last 5 years, the engine manufacturers for some of the some of the electric start engines, they've started building their own shifter karts. And so like the FR125, it's 125 cc. Now there is a TAG shifter kart engine that's 175 cc's. So there's kind of been some developments in the shifter kart world that have pushed the technology, which is pretty cool to see. But for the most part, when I drove shifter karts, and that's still a class that's run pretty common in the U.S., the stock moto is what it's called.
And back to the reason you started in karting, your start in karting was with an intent to get to full-size cars in the sports car category, and we know you've had, I think, tremendous success in that. What age did you start, and are you seeing that happen at your facility now as well with some of the young kids that are coming in with an intent to go sports car racing?
Yeah, definitely. I started in go-karts when I was 5 years old.
Oh, gosh.
So I've been driving now 20 years in my driving career. And from there, I started racing nationally when I was about 8 in the road tax category that we were talking about a little earlier. And so there's different classes where they do use little intake restrictors, exhaust restrictors, slide. If it's got a slide carburetor like the Briggs does, they've got little slide restrictors to keep you from getting full throttle. And so we do have some kids that are starting to come in and wanting to drive. And so I'm working on trying to figure out a way to get a junior league going. And actually, we've got one of the karts in here is a Briggs and Stratton that's a junior kart. And so this one has a slide restrictor in it, in the carburetor in here that doesn't give it full throttle.
Governor. It's like a governor.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, like a governor, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I part of the goal here was just helping people be able to get into the sport at again, the grassroots level and have a way to get driving and understand what's going on without having to have a huge investment, and see if they like it, because it can be quite an investment. The base model of a Briggs and Stratton kart that you can get are generally around $3,500 if you want to buy it built. So you can get into the sport with that investment, or you could kind of buy one yourself, and the engines are about $1,100, and assemble it. Maybe find an old chassis that's you can find for $250 to $500, depending.
But surely
on
there are
at.
guys out there that either moving on or up or changing chassis that may have something for sale. That would seems to me like a good way to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And then do you offer, again, talking about the youth coming in, do you personally offer driving schools for them? I know you offer driving. You're an instructor driver in the sports car category. Do you also offer that there at your facility for the youth coming in?
Yeah, I do. I do work a bit with some youth. So I was out at the Katy kart track not too long ago, right around Thanksgiving, actually, working with a kid who's just starting in karts. A friend of mine's, a son of a friend of mine, and so we're working trying to get him down on the correct lines. What I'll do is generally go out on the track, set cones down on the different points, and like, hey, drive to these, and then we kind of talk about the theory, very basic stuff. Like I like to tell people, okay, that line goes outside, inside, outside. So you start from like the outside of the track, get to the inside, and then go back to the outside. But I find it's interesting because these little sayings like that are slow in, fast out. So like drive slower into the corner so you can get to the throttle early, you can drive fast out. All these sayings, that I use for the kids. And that's where I started coaching, is I started coaching kids that were younger than me when I was karting. I use with my adult coaching clients as well. And so it's stuff that kind of carries all the way through the sports. But I do some coaching with youth groups, and I've been working with one of the gentlemen that's helps us do some marketing and helps us run our league racing here. We're developing a youth program, and to be able to have kind of like a driving academy, so to speak, just to help people understand, help kids understand how to drive, and both on track and then as well off track, and just be more confident in driving. Because I think I see that pretty consistently across the board, that fewer and fewer kids are getting their licenses at 16, which is crazy to me. So I want to help get people encouraged and get people, to be confident in driving.
Well, Alec, we've got a couple of things that we've got to take care of here in the next 10 minutes, but let's check back in with you in about 10 minutes, because I got more questions, especially in regard to your coaching and at what age these kids absorb what you're saying and can actually make the changes in their mind and on the track. So let's talk to you at the bottom of the hour about that.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks so much, Alex Udell, with the go-kart track up in Conroe. All right. Time now for, I've got a couple of things that we're going to get to. So why don't you two swap so we can get Jeff in here to do his used car review. And one of the things that I thought while they were doing that, that you and I could talk about the events calendar and maybe auto history here.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, events, coming up over the next couple of weeks. Sunday, January 10th is the one of the monthly meets out.
Did I catch you off guard or something?
Yeah, a little bit off guard.
I'm sorry.
Out at 2015 Pinemont Drive in North Houston. There'll be a meet out there at 11 a.m. To 2 p.m. Exotics on Market Street in Houston, January 16th, and that's going to be basically I-10 and I-10 and Beltway 8-ish area. Cole's Crossing Cars and Coffee at the park is 13050 Barker Cypress, and that'll be January the 16th, starting at 8 a.m., going to 10 p.m. January 31st is the HPD Twin Peaks meet in the Woodlands with Troy Dixon and that whole crew up there. And then Lone Star Throwdown, February 26th through the 28th at Lone Star Expo Center in Montgomery County Fairgrounds. That is the biggest truck show in the country, in my opinion. In my opinion, is the only one that counts.
That counts. That's exactly right. Yeah. All right. Why don't we save your auto history after Jeff gets done with his review?
Well, now that we have Jeff sitting down here, and I've burnt that little bit of time so he and Mars can swap places, go for it, Jeff.
It's going to be...
His nostrils just flared again.
Hold on. We've got a little glitch. So
no,
we have the operator is the glitch. Yes. Yeah.
Operator error.
You're going to have to get up and go over there and show him how to.
Turn around?
Sorry. So while they're futzing with that, why don't you go ahead? Let me turn this off. Why don't you go ahead and do today in auto history?
Well, because we need to use the video Morris has over there.
Well,
and if he's jammed up on the video, I don't want to get too stuck in it.
All right.
Did you hear that Honda Motor Company has developed a mask for use in air conditioning systems in their cars that's going to block 99% of the airborne viruses?
So when you're taking somebody with COVID-19 in the back seat to the hospital, you can use that.
Well, and that's kind of not the intent of it, but it's to try and clean the virus and all of the funk in the air.
BG Products has a thing that does that.
We have a product that will clean your evaporator core.
Can you buy it?
Yep. Sure
I can buy it.
You can buy it. There's some places that would do the service for you. You can actually buy the product and do it yourself if you understand what you're doing. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
Easily enough. How we doing?
Apparently not well.
Oh, we're back to Jeff on screen. So.
Oh, okay.
You know, they say the show needs more Jeff.
Just a little 2020 carryover is what it was.
We just need to learn how to switch the videos over there.
We're good. Oh, well. We're good.
All right, Jeffrey, you're up.
Hi. We're going to do a pre-owned kart or a Peugeot 403.
No, we're not. We're not going to do that. Okay, let's do a real car that people can buy.
2016 Chevy Malibu Ltz. There are several or a few of the trim levels, which is an LS, an LT, a hybrid, and an LTZ. The LTZ is sort of the higher end of this. It is a sedan or a sedan, 5 passengers.
Depends on what part of East Texas you're from.
There you go. There you go. It's a Euro look styling. Some call it a little boxy, but it's all a Euro look. As you see there on the screen, it's a pretty sharp looking car. The Chevrolet makes a good-looking vehicle. Now, this vehicle is actually going to be discontinued in I think they were saying anywhere from 2022 to 2024. They're going to start phasing it out. So if you want one, to get one now.
They're going to stop building it soon.
Correct.
But this one here is 5 years old.
Yes, it is. And the reason we're doing this, I told Don the other day that we're going to make it so we've got vehicles that are within a reasonable price range. So we're going to maybe go a little older on the year, since we are in 2021.
Kind of like a fine wine.
Sure. It increases with not necessarily value, but the quality of it. So there you go. Exterior mirrors, turn signal mirrors, daytime running lights, optional rear deck spoiler, which you see there. Ventilated grille, which we just went by, but that's okay. It's a light and nimble vehicle. This one you can see, I like the styling. It's got the Euro look. It's got the Chevy badge there. Interior highlights on this, if we want to move on, it's the premium cloth, interior protection package. The speakers for it are a 6-speaker Bose system. If you were to get a luxury version of this, you were going to get 9 speakers. Good-looking cockpit interior, nice pod there. Everything, even though it's a Chevrolet, it's not like the Camaro where the vents are on the bottom. These are up in the visual area.
Good center stack.
Sure, good center stack. Rear camera. It's got the optional sunroof. You've got 8-way power seats for the driver, and then of course it's 6-way manual for the passenger. Good looking bolster on the seat. Good high headrest. Good comfortable for your back and your derriere.
God knows we need the back.
Hold you in place.
Yep, there you go. It is a bit plasticky. It's got a little bit of plastic look. Of course, they all do nowadays. The rear seating, of course, you've got there's for your 5-passenger. It's actually a 4 comfortably, but they say 5. It is a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder. I'm sorry, 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, 16-valve dual overhead cam. With the 4-cylinder to the turbo, just the regular 4-cylinder, you're anywhere from 160 to 250.
Yeah. Get the 250.
In
the
horsepower.
turbo 250.
Exactly.
Yeah. Big difference.
Exactly. And 184 foot-pounds of torque at 2,500. It is a automatic 6-speed transmission, which is very, very capable with this motor. Good compact fit. Now, so far as the miles per gallon, you got 27 miles per gallon in the city.
Wow.
37 on the highway.
Dang.
Combined is 31. Now, if you put your foot into it, obviously you're going to get a little less than.
Well, yeah, but still, getting 31 in a mid-sized car is pretty significant.
Yeah. And putting your foot in it's kind of like putting your foot in, Mom's Buick Skylark in 1969.
I think it'd be a little bit better with the turbo, because when that turbo kicks in, it's probably feels a lot more rush of acceleration than Mom's Buick.
And that's when you're right back in the seat.
Yeah. You need a little bit more pep on the regular 4-cylinder. That's why you put the turbo, so it needs more pep. Now, something I read on this and looked into, and I looked at a lot of the other blogs and things, that the folks that do own these, they're kind of 50-50 on the quality of the engine. So be aware of that some folks did have some challenges with the engine. General Motors had some challenges, so be aware of that. 4-wheel ABS, ventilated front discs. The rears are solid. It does have the TPMS as standard. This vehicle, you're looking anywhere between 10.2 and 16.5, depending on the mileage.
16.5?
10.2 and 16.5. Now, obviously, you're gonna look into it and see what the value is. Now, Don also suggested something the other day when looking at this, that we're going to give you the retail buyer value, the bank book, on future episodes of this. So there you go.
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. All right, we need to take a quick break. We'll move Conrad's auto history down the way, so just bear with us on that. That'll be coming your way in the next 30 minutes. I promise. Okay?
Not a problem.
I appreciate that.
No.
I'm just trying to get your approval.
You're in charge.
No, I'm not.
We're just here to follow you. You are the Hall of Famer, the Broadcasting Hall of Famer. The defamer. I'm sorry.
The defamer.
The Hall of Flame.
Hey, that's it. Former Flame. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com.